So we begin the Daf Mem Aleph Amud Bet. Daf Mem Aleph Amud Bet. At the end, the last sentence. Metive. It's second to last line. So, just to understand what we're talking about, I think it's good to see the article preface to this. Reish Lakish had stated that Rabbi Meir holds that one cannot effect pigul through the part of a perimeter, but when one intends pigul, as in pigul intent, during the first part of the perimeter, and then he's silent during the second part, he's deemed to have done the second part on the basis of his original intent, al da'at rishona. So even if he's silent during the second part, he did it al da'at rishona. That's what Reish Lakish is saying, according to Rabbi Meir. Reish Lakish had further cited our Mishnah in support of this assertion, of saying this. The Gemara deflected the support, finding an alternative explanation from Mishnah. Now the Gemara challenges the assertion itself. Meitivei. They asked on Reish Lakish from the Brisa that states, Bamed Dvarim Amurim. So they asked on Reish Lakish from the Brisa that states that it's sufficient with the thought at the time of the blood application, the first blood application, to make the korban pigul by all the offerings besides the sin offering, also by the sin offering, the chatos. But medvarim amurim. In which case is it that a thought during the first blood application will create the pigul will take effect there? Badomim hanitonin al mizbeach chitzon, by the blood that is applied upon the outer altar. Only one blood avoda, the blood application is essential, and therefore pigul is only dependent upon that. In other words, that first avoda, which is essential, that's where pigul can take effect. If one had an intention to consume it beyond its time, and if one didn't have a thought of pigul, intent of pigul, it doesn't become pigul. Aval Mem Bet Amud Aleph. Now it's 42a1. Aval damim anitanin al mizbeach hapnimi. What about the blood that is applied upon the inner altar? And that is obviously the blood of the inner chataot. Kegon 43 shel Yom HaKippurim, like the 43 blood applications of the bull and the goat of Yom Kippur. So let's see if something I need to say. Okay. Ve'achad asar, and the 11 applications of blood of Shel Par Kohen Mashiach, of the Par Kohen Mashiach, of the anointed Kohen Gadol. And we know what Par Kohen Mashiach is, where he issued an erroneous ruling, and he went ahead and followed his erroneous ruling. V'achad and the 11 applications of blood Shel Par Helem Davar Shel Tzibur, of the communal bull offering, due to the erroneous ruling of the Sanhedrin, the majority sinned. And so there's 11 applications of blood. Pigel, if the Kohen Gadol had pigul intent, okay, doesn't have to be. It says here pigel, and this is talking about Kohen Gadol, but even in a case where it's not a Kohen Gadol, pigel, machshavas pigul, thought to consume it beyond its time, ben berishona, whether it's during the first blood application, which is in the Holy of Holies, uven bashniya, or whether it was, if he had pigul intent to consume beyond its time, bashniya, in other words, the application, the blood application, the second blood application, which is in the heichal, in the sanctuary, on the parochet, on the curtain that divides between the Kodesh and the Kodesh Kodashim. That's the second one. Again, the first one is in the Kodesh Kodashim. Second one is on the parochet, uven bashlishit, or whether it's on the third, which is on the golden altar. Rabbi Meir says, Pigul v'chayavin alav karet. It is pigul, and there's liability for karet for it. Chachamim omrim, en bo karet. There's no karet for this offering. It's only pasul. It's only invalid. Ad she'yifagel b'chol hamatir, until he thinks a thought of pigul beyond its time, b'chol hamatir, and all the permitter. And what is a permitter? The permitter is all of the blood applications. So again, Meir says, in this case, where the Kohen Gadol had pigul intent, either in the first case, in the first blood application, the Kodesh Kodashim, or in the second, the blood on the parochet, or in the third, on the Mizbech Hazov, golden altar. Rabbi Meir says it's pigul, and one would be liable for eating it karet. Chachamim omrim, ein bo karet. There's no karet here. It's only invalid. Ad she'yifagel b'chol hamatir, until all of it, in other words, all three avodot, has the blood applications, until all three, again, in the Kodesh Kodashim, in the Heichal and the Parochet, on the Paroches, between the Kodesh Kodashim, Holy and Holy of Holies, and the third, which is on the Old Golden Altar, that only, if he, in all three of them, if he has pigul intent, only then will it be pigul, according to Chachamim, Chol. Rabbi Meir says again, it's pigul, even if he only had intent in one of them. They're all essential, but if you had in one of them pigul intent, then pigul will take effect. Okay, so pigul in chatzi matir, it does not have karet. That's what it means. A pigul intent in half a matir, half a permitter. We say permitter, that means that the blood applications permit the meat, right? So all the blood applications by the inner chatos are necessary and essential. So if one is lacking one of them, then it's chatzi matir. In other words, if one did not have pigul intent by all of them, then it's lacking. Then it's not considered a pigul, according to Chachamim. But Rabbi Meir says even one of them. Nevertheless, we've been taught here in the Brisa Pigul ben barishona. So we learn here that whether he's done pigul, had pigul intent during the first blood application regarding inner right, chatos, apnimius, inner chatos, inner sin offerings are applied inside the sanctuary. So ben barishona, ben bashnia, ben bashlishis. If he had pigul intent in one of them, first, second, or third blood application upolig, and that's where Rabbi Meir disagrees and says that the korban is pigul. Nevertheless, if he only had pigul intent in the first one, you can say that even though he didn't have pigul intent during the second and the third, nevertheless, whoever does it, it goes according to the first, the Aldat Rishonah was there. So even if he only had pigul intent during the first, right, explicitly, we'll say that he continued to have that intent during the second avoda and the third, possibly. But if he only had pigul intent in the second or the third alone, and didn't have pigul intent before that, why does Rabbi Meir hold that there's pigul there? According to Rish Lakish, the whole idea is that is Aldat Rishonah was there. In other words, the second is following the first thoughts he had.